Nope.
Enough of this bullshit.
This is the new wrestling podcast.
This is now a wrestling podcast.
You knew it was going to happen. And I mean, it's only going to be a wrestling podcast for a few weeks until it becomes a Futurama Watch 3 podcast.
Yeah, and then American Dad podcast.
Oh, there's no place like home for the holidays. And no matter how far away you roam, if you pine for the sunshine of a friendly gaze, for the holidays you can.
Welcome to Horror for the Holidays, a Christmas horror movie podcast. I'm Jay Logsdon.
And I'm Jay Logsdon. Fuck! Jeff Sears.
I mean, your voice probably sounds better than mine right now, Jeff. Still dealing with these allergies in the beautiful state of Iowa right now.
Oh yes, it's amazing. Harvest season. I love it.
Yeah, oh God, I think it's finally supposed to start cooling down, and maybe my voice will go back to normal. But it's been real hot these last couple days, and my voice has sounded like complete dog shit for a couple days straight.
You know what I love? A pollen index over 190-degree days.
Oh my God. Oh, just my favorite thing. Stepping outside and like you can see the pollen on cars, or like you step outside and like, I don't think I have a cottonwood allergy, but like you step outside and you just see the cottonwood like trees almost look like snow on the ground, but it's
insane.
July.
Yeah, it's insane.
Oh man. Well, how about we get into it, and maybe let's think about Christmas time and cooler temperatures ahead, and get into our next episode.
Let's hope that the world is cleansed with fire.
Nice segue there. For this episode, we watched 2017's I'm Dreaming of a White Doomsday. So let's deck the halls and set the scene for this movie. First things first, written and directed by Mike Lombardo, $10,000 budget. Was released by Scream Team Releasing and Real Splatter Productions.
Which, for that budget, this is an amazing movie.
No, we'll get into it later on, but yeah, for $10,000 they did one hell of a job. Scream Team Releasing, another same company that did 13 Slays, a movie we both really liked, and I think at the end we're gonna admit that we both really liked this movie as well. I first learned about this movie. My friend Dean posted like a picture of like his living room and all of the kind of horror movie posters he has up. And one of the posters was the poster for this movie. And I kind of messaged him. I was like, "Hey, is that a Christmas horror film?" And he said, "Oh yeah." And I was like, "Where can I see it? Where can I get it?" And he gave me the link to Scream Team Releasing. I was able to buy the DVD there. But I believe it's also streaming on Tubi at the moment.
Yes, it is.
Not a very big cast. I think 5 people in the cast.
Yeah.
The biggest name is Damien, I'm going to say Maffei. I'm not sure exactly how to pronounce it. Maffei. Yeah. Biggest thing he was in was Strangers Pray at Night.
Which I've heard good things about, but I've not seen.
I tried watching the first Strangers movie, and it was honestly kind of like this movie, very atmospheric. A little too scary for me, like in a weird way. Like I was sitting there and I just I felt myself like really tense, and like kind of the hairs were standing up on the back of my neck. I remember watching the trailer for the first Strangers movie like in theaters and just being like, this looks real creepy.
Yeah, it does. The atmosphere is really heavy, and it's honestly, I think the reason that it hits so scary for a lot of people is because it's so possible.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like the home invasion aspect. I think that's kind of what turned me off to the movie. I mean, if I was gonna say if there was a Strangers movie that took place at Christmas time, we'd have to watch it. But that might actually get me to watch the other two. But yeah, I've tried watching Strangers twice and just turned it off both times just because like just my I was just so tense the whole time, and I'm like I don't think I can sit here for another hour, which sucks because I like Glenn Howerton and I know he's one of the characters in the first film. But I'm like, I don't think I can do this for the whole movie. But Damien Maffei is in two movies kind of pertinent to our purview. One is called Christmas with the Dead, I think was 2012, and then another was a little more recent, All Through the Night. It was a short film, so probably get to those at some point in time.
You know we're going to have to.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Do you have anything else?
The only thing I wondered at the beginning of this movie is, I mean, I know now that they're American, but the first thought in my mind was, these better not be Canadian. I was getting a heavy Canadian vibe there at the beginning.
We didn't get any sorries, I don't think, or
no
anything
sorries.
like that. But yeah, let's kind of get into it with our just kind of general synopsis of the film. We start with a kind of a bunch of pictures of like Christmas imagery, Christmas decorations, and we are introduced to Kelly, her husband Simon, and their son Riley. They're all kind of decorating for Christmas, putting tinsel up on the tree,
Like
decorating
a
for
classic
ornaments.
Christmas scene, yeah.
And at one point, Simon tries to eat a cookie, and kind of gets chastised by Riley and Kelly, like, because Santa's supposed to eat the first cookie at Christmas. Apparently, that's their family tradition.
And you're fucking fat, Dad. Stop eating so many cookies.
Simon and Riley go outside to build a snowman, play in the snow, and Kelly realizes that Riley doesn't have his hat. So, like a good mom, she steps outside of their festively decorated house and into a complete black and white blasted hellscape.
It's like mountains of ash. It's nothing as far as the eye can see.
Yeah, and she turns around, and her house is gone, and she's just kind of standing there. And she walks off, kind of screaming Riley's name, looking for him, and wakes up laying on a mattress, you know, next to him, and starts crying. And we get our title card, "I'm Dreaming of a White Doomsday."
Which great song too.
Yeah, fantastic name for a song. It's a good song on its own, and it's great. It's a great kind of parody of that name.
Yeah.
We get kind of inside views of what we now know is kind of a bunker. We get a chemical toilet. We get like kind of a big door, what would you call it? Like a blast door.
Yeah, like basically if you've seen like a fallout shelter, like one of those thick reinforced steel bunker doors.
We get canned food on a shelf. We get hung up gas masks.
And it looks lived in, definitely, so you can tell that this is not like a recent development. They've been living this way for quite a while.
Yep. And Kelly kind of prepares a meager dinner from one of the cans off the shelf. They don't have a lot of food left on the shelf. I think maybe there's 10, 15 cans up there.
You can definitely tell they're getting to the end of their supplies.
Yeah. Kelly tries on the walkie, and it's only Kelly and Riley that we can see. Kelly tries on her walkie-talkie to talk to Simon, and we get a flashback.
Him deciding to basically, like, okay, we've reached the point where I have to go out and try and find something to eat.
No, exactly. Simon basically tells Kelly he's going to have to go get supplies. Kelly kind of begs him not to go, but they need supplies to live. And so he basically tells her to like keep the walkie-talkie on, keep it on a specific channel. Don't open that door for anybody but me. And he ventures out. Kelly wakes up, starts crying, and we kind of come to the realization it's been a while. Simon's not coming back.
Yeah, it's pretty clear. Yeah, he's gone.
We get another day of kind of the same thing. Kelly and Riley playing,
opening the meager dinner again.
Yep, and at one point, like they're dressing in costumes and kind of playing around, and then at one point Riley does something and she kind of snaps at him.
Yeah, and
we get another flashback of Simon leaving that night. She's lying in bed clutching like 3 bullets. And we get a flashback and Simon basically giving her bullets and telling her to hold on to them. I don't know what the plan was because he didn't leave a gun for her.
Yeah, I'm guessing he was assuming that he would be back.
Yeah,
he didn't want to use those 3 bullets in case they needed them for themselves.
Right. So finally, kind of Kelly realizes, okay, I need to do this myself.
Yeah.
And she
help's not coming.
Yeah, and so she gets a gas mask. Riley's all scared, and Kelly says, I'll be back. Don't open that door for anybody. I think the only weapon she can find is like a trowel. And she puts on her gas mask and like walks out into this landscape. We see like a bunch of blown out buildings. My first thought was it kind of looked like, my family is from southern Iowa. And it kind of looked like going to like some of these smaller towns in southern Iowa, like at Christmas time where there's snow all over the ground and kind of like, a couple houses that maybe haven't been lived in for a long time look really dilapidated.
Has a heavy Mount Air vibe if you've ever been down that way.
And it looked really cool. She's walking in and out of houses, finds like a skeleton, like in a bathtub, kind of has a panic attack, walks down a hallway, thinks she sees Riley, like asking her for help. And then we see like a skeleton of like a mother and a son, like kind of cradling each other. They're both dead. And
Which, I mean, whatever it must, based on what the location she's in, it must be that whatever happened must have happened like in the major cities, and these areas are just kind of like the people must have like started looting and that kind of stuff after whatever major event happened.
yeah, some kind of I'm assuming it's some kind of fallout. Like I'm assuming a nuke went off or something.
Yeah. And this area clearly did not get nuked, so I'm wondering if this was just like on. Maybe that's why they can go outside without too much trouble. Maybe the radiation was more centralized, like population centers.
Right, exactly. Kelly finds like another skeleton, and there's like kind of a blockaded door. She's able to force her way inside and finds like a woman who's not dead, like lying there, but or a woman who like isn't a skeleton, but she thinks is dead. And the woman wakes up.
She's pretty close to dead.
Yep, and Kelly kind of like confronts her, and she's like, oh, can you walk? You can come with me. Like thinking like, oh, I found someone who has supplies, blah, blah, blah. And the woman, like her leg's broken. Mm-hmm. And Kelly basically takes her bag of supplies and runs off saying like, I need these for my son. I need these for my family.
Yeah. And I mean, honestly, probably a good choice in that situation because this woman does not look like she's going to make it much longer.
Yeah. And, when she first exited the bunker, I think she found one of Riley's toys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We got to remember that. She goes back into the bunker with this bag of supplies, finds a gun. Turns out the bullets don't fit in the gun that she found.
Yeah. Classic. See, that was a lot of the elements of this apocalyptic scenario are done very realistically. And that's another one that I thought, oh, this is great attention to detail because it's like, yeah, random bullets you're going to be finding in a situation like this probably are not going to fit whatever firearm you happen to have.
Right. It's not a game of Fallout where,
all the ammunition just works with whatever gun you have.
Right, exactly. And so she opens this bag, finds that the bullets don't fit in the gun, finds a half a bottle of water, a bag of cookies, and like, I don't know, like a snack pack or a Dunkaroo or something like that. One of the little breadsticks with frosting, and nothing else for supplies.
And I think this is basically the point where she's like, "Well, with this, we're done."
Yeah,
it's like we're out of supplies.
Yep. So she puts she tries to load the bullets in the gun. She's gonna mist Riley and herself.
Yes.
But the bullets don't fit. She tries to like slit her wrist with like a can top, but I think can't bring herself to do it or something.
Well, it's probably because if she does that to herself, then she's not going to be able to take care of her son.
Yeah. And so she takes out 2 of the cookies, takes the frosting from the Dunkaroo. Oh man, sorry, just bumping into stuff here. I'm acting with my hands, even though this is an audio medium. She goes and she puts frosting on the cookies, and then finds like weed eater or like weed.
Some kind of
killer.
Some kind of industrial chemical.
That's like green crystals.
Green crystals, yeah. And
sprinkles them on top or puts them on top to make them look like sprinkles. And she kind of tells Riley, hey, it's going to be Christmas tomorrow. And so they all start decorating for Christmas. She's going to give Riley one last Christmas before she gives him this poisoned cookie. Yeah. Her and him, have a Jonestown and each eat a poisoned cookie.
Well, either that or she's planning on him eating the poisoned cookies and she's just going to slit her wrists after that.
Right. They decorate for Christmas. At one point, Riley writes a Christmas letter to Santa. Hey, it's Christmas. I got to write my letter to Santa so I can ask for what I want. And then he kind of realizes, oh, there's no postal service to deliver this letter to the North Pole. Kelly's like, oh, I know another way, and they burn the letter. I don't know why. And we get kind of like a scene then where like a guy in a Santa suit wearing a gas mask, really creepy image. I love it so much.
Yeah, he looks really good.
Is like standing on like a hill, kind of like overlooking the area, and he like reaches into his sack and pulls out like a scroll, and Riley's name appears on it.
So clearly this is real Santa.
Yeah, this is real Santa. And he puts the scroll back in his sack, hoists it back over his head, and we see him trudging through the snow-covered wasteland. They have dinner. Kelly gives Riley the toy she found. It was one of the toys. It was like the friend toy of the one other toy Riley has in the bomb shelter.
I just wanted to make a note that even though Santa is like, he's clearly got like, they call them scars, I think, from radiation poisoning on his face, like those black blotches.
Okay.
And even though he's clearly like at death's door, basically, he's still collecting like hell blasted toys and putting them in his bag.
But, yeah,
it's like he's compelled to collect toys when he sees them.
And so she gives Riley the cookies and like starts crying. We think, oh, Riley's eating the cookies, and Kelly falls asleep and has a dream where she, Simon, and Riley are taking family photos. And the photographer, Jeff noticed this originally. I didn't notice it at first. The photographer is the woman
she left to die.
Yep, that she left to die. And so they're kind of taking photos and they're kind of joking around. It's a happy family scene. And then Kelly turns around and like the door into the office of the photography studio. She notices like Riley and Simon are gone.
Right.
And then notices the door to the office to the photography studio is a fallout shelter door.
Become the bunker door.
And then the photography lady appears, but it's now the woman that she left behind. She's covered in blood. Her shirt's all ripped up.
Yeah.
And she gives her the photo, and it's Riley, Simon, and Kelly, but they're all skeletons, but they're all wearing Christmas sweaters.
It was the entire sequence is really well done and super atmospheric and creepy.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It really I know the terror kind of gets you in this movie. It's small budget, but man, like, kind of like I said for Strangers, like I was tense the whole time watching the movie.
I think honestly, you can see it's a realistic portrayal of what this would probably be like, and so that's probably why it hits so hard.
Kelly wakes up and Riley like runs up to her and is like, Mommy, Santa came. Santa is in the bunker wearing his gas mask, and he takes it off, and that, we see the scarring, the radiation poisoning all over his face. And like Riley walks up, he's like, Santa, what are you going to give me? And Santa strangles Riley in front of his mother.
And he's like, just let me rest.
Riley dies, Kelly's screaming. And then Santa like breathes out like one last breath, and like the last child on Earth is dead, and he like crumbles to dust in front of her.
Santa can finally rest.
And Kelly's left alone in the bunker. That's the end of the movie.
Yep.
It was only about 80 minutes, very quick runtime.
I mean, it was really good. Really solid movie. And honestly, the little detail at the end of like, oh, he left the cookies for Santa.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It pans out, and Riley left the cookies for Santa because the rule at the beginning of the movie was Santa gets the first cookie. Mm-hmm. So Kelly couldn't even have Riley eat the 2 cookies because there were only 2 cookies, and he was leaving them both for Santa to eat.
Yep. It was so great. Bleak as hell, sure, but I mean that's what you're kind of expecting from.
Right. Let's kind of get into our minutia, and we can talk more about it. Let's start with favorite quotes. Was there anything that really stuck out to you? Our Christmas carols section.
Quotes. I mean, honestly, in this movie, there is not a whole lot of dialogue, so quotes really, I didn't think any really stuck out to me.
I had one. There was another one that like there was maybe like a kind of a jab at Simon, in the photography studio. But there was a line early on where Kelly, in her dream, she's like, she says to Riley, I heard Santa's having a hard time fitting in his suit this year. Mm. And Riley looks at her, because he's so fat.
Yeah, the fat joke at the beginning was pretty much the only memorable line, I think.
And then the one other, not a piece of dialogue, but the tagline for the movie is "No food, no hope, Noel." I thought that was a really good tagline.
When you pointed that out, I was like, yeah, that's good.
Moving on. Let's get into Christmas sweater. What were our thoughts of the outfits, kind of set design?
Honestly, I did not know that this movie was made for $10,000, and there was no way I would have guessed that based on how good this looks. I mean, everything looks good. Their costumes look great. Santa looks amazing. As far as like a post-apocalyptic version of Santa, it's pretty much like just what you would imagine. And the set was amazing. The bunker looked really like well used and lived in, like somebody had been staying there for like a year, 2 years at this point. I mean, the outside, like they made it really look abandoned and post-apocalyptic. Which, I mean, sounds like, oh, yeah, that's what they should do. But a lot of these post-apocalyptic movies fail that for me because they just look like, oh, we just cleared everybody out to film in this city for the day.
Right. No, I agree. Like, the Santa outfit looks so cool. Like, the Santa wearing the gas mask is so creepy. But they wear Christmas sweaters. They look great. And we saw kind of the behind the scenes stuff where like, you know, they made sure to like, there's two different wigs. There's like a trimmed wig to like look more like, you know, when time was normal. And there's like a wig where, okay, she hasn't had her hair cut for a while or she's cutting her own hair.
I mean, they made the bunker door out of like basically foam and plastic lids.
I think like plastic lids for bolts and like a steering wheel from like a car video game for like the kind of the door. Yeah. Well, it just looks so cool. Looks so realistic.
Yeah, I mean, it was like I said, I would have never guessed $10,000 would have been the budget for this movie. I was thinking, I mean, it looks better. Honestly, it looks better and more Christmassy than Barricade, which had like a studio budget behind it.
No, exactly. But yeah, great Christmas. The Christmas sweaters look good. Like they're appropriately ugly. You wouldn't want to be seen wearing them. They look great. They're doing their job in that scene.
The moment where they had the photo with the skeletons wearing them looked great, which I know we have in the behind the scenes thing. The guy's like, this was the biggest pain in the dick in this entire movie.
Right, was
getting the sweaters to look good on the skeletons.
But yeah, but I keep coming back to just the image of the Santa wearing the gas mask. Like, just looks so creepy. Looks so good.
It's honestly, I think if more people saw this movie, that would become like an iconic horror symbol.
No, and it's a great looking Santa suit. Like I would say, and we've had 3 killer Santa suits so far, maybe 4 if you count Santa's evil twin from 13 Sleighs. This is by far at this point, this is the best of the bunch.
No, yeah, I would say honestly, this Santa looks, I would say, better than even like Santas I've seen in like professional studio movies.
No, absolutely. He looks the suit looks great, and he just and the guy looks cool. The guy looks like he's sick when he takes his gas mask off. But yeah, it's such an icon. It's such a great image. Like, I'm going to be thinking about the Santa and the gas mask probably for a long time.
And you can even tell, even before he unmasks himself, you can kind of see the like the scarring and stuff peeking out down on his neck, and you can tell by his eyes that he's like in pain.
And his beard is like falling out, like his hair's falling out from the radiation.
Which is like, apparently there's so much radiation that even a magical being like Santa can't completely resist it.
Right, exactly. Final kind of section for right now, or another section for right now, Christmas spirit. How Christmassy is the movie? How Christmassy are the kills? The kills aren't very Christmassy. I mean, other than there's also really only one kill.
Well, I was going to say, I mean, honestly, it's kind of Christmassy just because he's being strangled by Santa.
Right. No, I guess that it makes it incredibly Christmassy. So 5 out of 5 Santa strangulations.
Yes, as I say, it's being strangled by the real Santa. That doesn't happen a lot in these movies.
But Christmas everywhere. Christmas everywhere in this movie. Like they've got Christmas decorations all over the place. I think they filmed in June, but there's Christmas all over the place.
You would never guess. This was like incredibly well done, and the effect at the end, I mean, again, mind-blowing for the budget of this movie. When Santa disintegrates into dust looks amazing.
We in the behind the scenes stuff, we saw that they like made a plaster cast and then basically like pushed it over, and like so it crumbles almost like a vase or something. Like was like holding his like Santa's almost made out of clay and like crumbles away now that the last child on Earth is dead.
And it's like it worked so well because it was like, especially with like his, I don't know if that's supposed to be like his last breath, like you said, or like his soul or whatever it is that comes out of his mouth there at the end.
But yeah, it just looks amazing. But yeah, the everything. There's Christmas decorations all over the place. This movie is a Christmas horror movie. Its name is a Christmas song, warped, changed in some way to be a Christmas horror movie, and there's Christmas all over this movie. Unlike some of the others where it's a Christmas movie, but and Barricade, it's Christmassy for 30 minutes, and then other than the snow, like it doesn't do much more with the Christmas theme.
And honestly, the main thing that got me with this movie is it makes that emotional connection early on with like the mom and her son surviving in the bunker, and I think that kind of helps carry it too, where it's because a lot of these movies you really just don't care about the characters at all. Like Barricade is a prime example.
Right.
It's like you never get the feeling that you're not just watching a movie with something like that. But in this one, you get connected into the story, and it's like, honestly, you're surprised when it ends.
Yeah, no, and yeah, absolutely. Let's just kind of get into it. Our final rankings. We rank these movies on one of three categories. Is it ho 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 hilarious? Is it seasonally scary? Or is it you'll be sorry? Jeff, you want to go first?
It's got to be seasonally scary for me. I think this is my first seasonally scary. I think so.
Yeah, I think it.
Although I did a tentative seasonally scary for Wolf of Snow Hollow, I think, but this one, no, I actually found some scenes in this movie genuinely scary, especially like when she wakes up from her dream and gas mask Santa's standing there with like holding her son's hand. It's like, yeah, if I woke up to something like that, it would scare me.
No, I completely agree. It's seasonally scary. It is incredibly bleak. It is incredibly atmospheric. I was tense the whole time watching the movie. Like I did not calm down for probably a good 5 minutes after watching it, just because, I couldn't breathe. Like I'm like, are these people going to survive? What's going to happen? Like, is she going to have to the mist herself and her son? Like,
no, it's on. Like I said at the beginning, that crucial emotional connection just sucks you into the movie, and it's like you're sad when it's over. I mean, you're sad the entire time, but you're especially sad that you're not going to get to see any more of this world.
But yeah, you want these characters to survive. Seasonally scary. There's nothing else for it. It's got to be seasonally scary.
It's got it. Honestly, out of what we've watched so far, this has been my favorite one.
For me, it's probably a toss-up between this and like 13 Slays, but for different reasons.
Yeah,
they're different movies.
They're definitely different movies, and I would say that 13 Slays, while good, is more uneven than this movie.
No, but yeah, just, bravo, Mike Lombardo. Like,
yeah,
great movie. Fantastic.
I would love... If this is what this team can do with $10,000, I'd love to see what they could do with $100,000 or $1 million.
No, I do not get. We were kind of looking through IMDb and like looking at some of the reviews. I do not get the hate that this movie gets. Like, no. It is atmospheric as fuck.
Oh, but Jay, it's too bleak.
That's what it's supposed to be.
That's what I've seen in like 12 different reviews that I read of this thing. It's so bleak. It's too bleak. It's like. It's the post-apocalypse. It is supposed to be bleak.
Right. The world isn't like Fallout where, there's funny guys talking.
Wow, no.
There's funny guys talking on the radio and stuff, like, funny things happening, but it's also the apocalypse. Like, no, this is a a nuke dropped hellscape. Like,
yeah. And I think that's one of the reasons why this works so well for me too, is so many of the little realistic details, like surviving in a post-apocalypse, like the rationing the food, the actually wearing, because in a normal Hollywood movie they'd wear their gas mask outside for like 2 minutes and then they'd find some like plot contrivance to strip it off of them.
Right.
It's like, no, she wears her mask pretty much the whole time she's outside. I mean, until I think she takes it off in the house when she's scared of the skeleton or whatever.
Yeah. I think I maybe implied that like she throws up, so she has to take it off to have somewhere to puke.
Yeah,
but yeah, like otherwise, yeah, you see her wearing the gas mask the whole time.
Like, and the way that the town looks like lived in yet abandoned at the same time rang really true. The bullets not fitting in the gun, obviously. It's like, that's something I've always complained about in movies. It's like, oh yeah, it's any random bullets you happen to find are going to fit whatever gun you happen to.
They just magically all work.
It's the video game logic of, oh, well, it's ammunition, so I mean, it must work, right?
Well, now, Jeff, I think we're going to have our hardest part of this episode. What are we going to put on the naughty list for I'm Dreaming of a White Doomsday?
Well, if we put the apocalypse itself on the naughty list, it's going to be at the top.
Right. That is the villain of the movie. Yes. Like truly, like, Santa wouldn't kill Riley. Kelly wouldn't be thinking about, killing Riley and herself if, Simon wouldn't be missing if there wasn't an apocalypse.
True. As Santa does brutally murder a child, but honestly, it's the apocalypse's fault.
And so, I mean, this nameless, faceless, probably nuclear apocalypse,
yes. Existential dread,
is probably the naughtiest thing on this list.
Yes, but I mean, if we have to put somebody on, obviously gas mask Santa would go on, but it's a problem because he's not naughty.
Yep. No, I think we just have to say it's the apocalypse.
I'm gonna say the existential dread of the post-nuclear hellscapes.
Honestly, this will be. There's at least one other movie that we're gonna have to do that also deals with the apocalypse, like a nameless, faceless apocalypse for Christmas. Last year a movie came out called Silent Night.
Yes.
With Keira Knightley. We're gonna have to do that one, so we're going to have to rank one of these apocalypses above the other.
I mean, honestly, I'm gonna say this apocalypse is probably gonna be better.
Right. Yeah. Or naughtier.
Yeah. Well, yes, it's better because it's worse.
Right. That makes sense. So, all right, apocalypse, you are the naughtiest thing we have so far.
By far the naughtiest. Puts all these other things to shame.
All right. Well, the last thing we do in every episode is we like to clean out our email inbox in a segment we like to call
Garbage Day! Huh? No!
All right, so this is our Garbage Day segment, and today we have an email titled Mad Scientist Mix. Oh. Hey guys, I've been listening since the beginning of the show, and I just have to say that your most recent episode was unlistenable fucking garbage. Really? Fucking Skittles over my mix? Oh, it's just M&Ms? You mean that thing that you fat fucks love? I have half a mind to use my laboratory to whip up a mutant cyborg death machine to kill you two ungrateful assholes. Just so you know, I've used my connections at M&M Mars to make sure you troglodytes never get my mix again. But other than that, that was a pretty solid episode. Keep up the good work. Steve, the resident mad scientist for the Mars Corporation. Well, Steve, thanks for listening.
Oh, yeah.
First of all.
To hear from the Steve, the mad scientist.
Yeah. I mean, we were debating during the episode who the mad scientist was who is making this mix. Yeah. And I guess we know that it's Steve.
I mean, we didn't intend any disrespect. It was a good mix.
No, it was a good, solid mix. Just M&Ms are just M&Ms.
Yeah, I mean, we love them. We eat them. I mean, you got us pegged.
No, exactly. We are fat. That is the truth. Honestly, I've been since that episode came out. I think I've said multiple places that was probably my favorite episode we've done so far.
No, it was. I think that one was really good, and I loved the Wolf of Snow Hollow episode.
But I thought Mad Side the more I've listened, the more I've thought like the Skittles fucking sucked.
Yeah,
and also I think we were wrong. Or I think I was wrong. I think they just tasted bad. I think the ones that I was thinking of are called zombie Skittles, where some of them taste like normal Skittles and some of them taste like dog shit. And I think I got them confused, but I just think in general, those Skittles fucking sucked.
There were definitely ones I think that were more sour than others, but none of them were like. I mean, one of them that I got did taste really bad, but I think it's just because it was so sour.
Right, but yeah, they weren't good. But I mean, my kids ate all of them, and they didn't seem to mind.
I mean, I liked them. I would eat them if they were around. But honestly, if I had to choose between that and Mad Scientist Mix, I'd get Mad Scientist Mix.
I would too. We're going to change our rating. I don't remember where everything fell on the list, but Skittles, you were the worst.
Yes, we have to correct it. Skittles, I think, was my number 3. It's moved down to number 5. I'm going to swap that with M&M's.
Yeah, and whatever mine was, 5 and 4. Same thing.
Yeah, I'm leaving the beer at 4.
I'll move I'm keeping my beer at 3, but yeah, otherwise.
I mean, the Oreos still got to be number 1 for me.
Man, I'm still thinking about those. Those were so good.
I've been thinking about, and you know what was crazy? Like 2 days after we did that, my mom sent me a message, and she's like, "Look what I found at Aldi's. Like, these are really good. You guys should try them."
Joke's on you, Mom. I already did.
Already got them.
Thanks a lot, Mama S.
Jeez, Mom.
All right, well, that wraps up our Garbage Day and another episode of Horror for the Holidays.
Yes.
If you want to follow us on social media, give us a follow on Instagram. I now set up an Instagram. Yes, I've not posted really anything, but Instagram, Twitter, TikTok at horror 4 holidays. Send us an email for Garbage Day.
I think our first pictures on Instagram should be some photos of the posters that you got for the studio.
Oh, we could do that. Yeah, that'd be okay. I'll work on that. But yeah, if you want to send us an email for Garbage Day, it's horror for the holidays, all one word, at gmail.com. Just the title of our show. Yeah. Make sure to like us on YouTube.
We're on the ticks and the talks. We're got the audio backups on the YouTubes.
Yeah, follow us on YouTube, like, subscribe, give us a thumbs up, hit that little bell icon, help us reach out to other people, spread the word. Another good way to spread the word about the podcast is to give us a review, 5 stars on whatever your podcatcher is. Not only leave us a ranking, but also, write a review. And, yeah.
But, yeah. If you don't feel like doing any of that, just download the show and enjoy it.
Yeah, just keep enjoying it, and if for whatever reason you have a friend that you think might enjoy it, reach out to them, let them know. They might get a kick out of it too. One other thing we thought we might start saying at the end of these episodes: if you're making a Christmas horror movie, or if you're involved in the production of a Christmas horror movie, especially one that's maybe that either is small budget or one that is small budget. I don't think studio execs are listening to us, but if you've got a small budget Christmas horror movie, and you're trying to generate buzz, or you want to you're trying to fund it on a crowdfunding platform, reach out to us and let us know. We're always funding stuff ourselves.
Definitely get in touch with us, because we'd love to help you.
Yep, and we're, like I said, I'm sure we're gonna, when Mrs. Claus 2 starts funding, like I'll certainly shout that out. And we hope to have Troy on to talk about that at some point once that starts funding, and we'll probably review Mrs. Claus then.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, otherwise, we'll see you again in 2 weeks, and thanks for listening.
Goodbye.
Bye.